Hello, this is Sortevik or Kibetros, depending on where you know me from. And today I will be showing you how to make a hypersaw in Synth1. Synth1 is a freeware VST synthesizer program for like PC, and it's very easy to make a hypersaw in. So what I have done, by ear, I composed the anthem section of Rank 1's track Airwave, and I'm going to have it play on Synth1 while I do the video tutorial, and while I turn the knobs and whatnot, you'll hear the changes that they make, and hopefully that will help you to understand things a little better. So we're going to set it playing, then I'll explain a few things about what you're hearing and why you're hearing it that way. So here we go. So the sound that you're hearing, it starts here in the oscillator, and the main sound itself, with the filtering or anything, with the volume, goes through the amplifier. And your amplifier here, it's called an envelope. It's called an ADSR envelope. And what that is, like if you've ever played the piano before, you press the key. At first, it's really loud. It's as loud as it's going to be, and then it drops off a bit. While you're still holding the key down, it drops off a bit, and it kind of levels off a little bit for a while. And then you let go of the key, and the sound disappears completely after a bit. So what that does, your ADSR envelope mimics that. A stands for attack. What happens is the attack knob measures how long it takes for the sound to get from totally dead quiet to its full volume. So you turn it all the way up, as you can hear, it takes quite a bit to get all the way up to full volume. You turn it all the way down though, which is what we want, the sound starts immediately. Then our D, the decay knob, this is the decay knob, and this measures the amount of time it takes to get from its loudest point in attack to the sustain level. Now the sustain level is how loud the sound is after it's gone through the attack phase. It's how long it stays until the note's done. So if you turn your sustain all the way down, it'll just do the attack phase, it'll do the decay phase, it'll skip the sustain, and it'll release. Go with the sustain all the way down, you can't hear your release, so it doesn't matter. What we can do, turn up the decay knob, you can kind of hear how the whole amount of decay thing works. So now we're going to turn our sustain knob back up a bit. You can hear it. You can kind of hear how it attacks and it drops off a bit here. But for our hypersaw, we're going to want our sustain knob to be up fairly high. Oh, I forgot to mention at the beginning, you might be a bit confused at this point. If this doesn't say initial sound here, it needs to. If this is something else like a synth brass string or something like that, change the bank. And okay, here I am on my initial sound again. It'll initialize it. It's like a blank slate to start your program from. So we have our attack, our decay, our sustain, which needs to be fairly high. Then there's the release knob. That's like if you have the sustain pedal down on a piano after you let go of the key, the release trails out along for quite a while. So to simulate that, if you wanted to, just turn the release all the way up and listen. It doesn't really let go. It kind of clashes together. It doesn't sound very good. So we're going to turn that down a bit. You want it to trail off like that some, but not a lot. So now you set the ADSR on. Explain that. They call it a hypersaw for a reason, because we use saw waves for it. So go over to your oscillators. Here we have a sine wave, a triangle wave, which isn't over here on oscillator 2. This is a triangle wave. Yeah, it does have a triangle wave. And this is the triangle wave over here. This has a sine wave. And these both have saw waves here. This is what we want. And there's pulse waves. And there's a noise wave, which we'll be using. So we want to set them both to saw waves. And then what we're going to do here, this is called the D-tube knob. It changes the pitch of oscillator 1 a little bit from the pitch of oscillator 2. Well, we don't want it up all the way because it doesn't sound very good. So we're going to turn it down a bit until it sounds nice and wide. And we're almost there. It kind of sounds like we want it to, but we can make it even wider, even more detuned. This is where the magic happens. This is what makes Synth1 such a really cool synth. is right here. It's got a nice unison mode. You turn on your unison mode, and it's got stereo spread, pitch, and detune. We're not going to mess with those two, we're just going to mess with the detune now. You turn it up a bit, and there you are. You've got a hypersaw. Now, it sounds kind of plucky at the beginning. We really don't want that, so we're going to go mess with our filter ADSR. And that kind of works the same way as the amplifier, but only for the filter instead. Watch this. We'll turn our filter attack down. And it takes a bit for the filter to actually kick in. Which sounds weird, we don't want that, so we turn it down. Now we're going to turn up our sustain a bit. And turn up our decay. You know, because it sounds a bit weird. Turn these down a bit. The taste. So there we have a nice wide hypersaw. That, my friends, is how it's done. Simple as that. If you wanted to, you could, this has a tempo delay already on. You could add additional effects and stuff to make it sound differently. So yeah, that's all there is to it. If you wanted to, you can shift it down an octave. You make it a 12. So there's not really a lot more to it than that. Synth1 is a great synth for beginners, and it'll show you how to do a lot of different things. If you get used to using it, I can go and explain the LFO and the arpeggiator, but I won't. But yeah, that's how you make a hypersaw. It's pretty basic, it's pretty simple. So I hope that you've enjoyed this video tutorial, and this is the first one I've ever made. So I really hope that it made sense, because I've never done this before. And I hope that I explained everything properly. If you have any suggestions or feedback, or things you'd like to see me do in the future, just let me know, and I would be happy to try and do them for you. So that's it for today. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you all next time.